I got it. I've got it. It's right here. It's right over here. It doesn't matter. Here it is. It's right here. Okay. We got it. Would you wrap it? Now wrap it up, please.
Janice, you knew, so she wasn't here. Okay, thank you.
Wrap it twice around. Take it around again. It's too big for it to be.
Alan? Are you able to be my rabbi? I have everything written out phonetically as well. Are you able to be my rabbi? Thank you.
Got it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Otherwise, we have to fast.
No,
you know.
I am happy that you have. I'm going to the third, in verse 30, so I'm going to chant the verses and read the last one.
All right. Shabbat Shalom. We're ready. We have a minyan. Please turn off your telephones. Are you staying here?
I do not. Thank you for asking.
I'm just wondering if we should do this in the round. Yeah, but we're not going to have a lot of people coming in. It would be kind of cool to do that. All right, well, we'll just do it this way. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. Don't go on autopilot today and turn off your phones, please. Thank you. I hope everybody is sated and had a good holiday. Okay, we're going to learn a song that we're going to sing when we dress the Torah. Okay, Leslie, let's try it. We've done it before. Is it? What page is it in the book? It's not in here. It's not in our books. I don't think. Torah, 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 Tiva, Lanu, Moshe. Torah, 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 Tiva, Lanu, Moshe. Torah, 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 Tiva, Lanu, Moshe. Torah, 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 Tiva, Lanu, Moshe. Thank you very much. That will be rousing when we do it. This is the last day of Cheshvan. Mar Cheshvan. Cheshvan is called Bitter Cheshvan because it's the only Jewish month that doesn't have a holiday. And for some of us, it has been bittersweet, but not for everyone. We will begin with Hinei Matov on page 10. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ונעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. הנה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. יה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. And from Yehuda Amichai, inside the brand new synagogue, inside the brand new museum, there's an old synagogue. Inside the synagogue is me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. Inside the museum, a synagogue. Inside it, me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. בתוך מוזיאום חדיש, בית כנסת ישן. בתוך בית הכנסת, אני. בתוכי, לוי. בתוך לוי, מוזיאון. בתוך המוזיאון, בית כנסת. בתוכו, אני. בתוכי, לוי. Betoch Levi Mu'uzian. It's called Poem Without End. And when I used to hear Yehuda Amichai read his poetry, he would read first in English and then in Hebrew. Probably I should have done it reverse because that was an English, a Hebrew-speaking audience. Anyway, we will turn to Moda Ani on page 170. I'm speaking as loud as I can. Come closer. I'm speaking into the microphone. Now, well, you know, okay. We're on page 170 for Moda Ani. Everybody, let's go. Moda Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shehechazarti b'shmati b'chemla rabba emunah. And for anyone who has not put on a talit, if you've put on a talit and you say the blessing again, it's as if you hadn't said the blessing. So if you haven't put on a talit, you may do it with me now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihitatef b'tzitzit. Our service now begins with Matovu on page 172. Linda, would you please read in the middle of page 173? You can stay there. You can stand.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom, you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength.
Amen. Chata Adonai, Boker, Umafli La'asot. Okay, and we continue on page 174 or 292 with the Elohai Neshama. Elise and Stan, would you lead us in the daily miracles, please? Yep, wherever you want. You can do it from your seats or up here.
Start the Hebrew shots. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sivina, v'havchin bein yom u'leila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
Hokekak Ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, zokif kufufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, roch haaretz el hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamachin mitzadei gaver. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanotein le'af koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shinam einai, u'melvam afapai. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben Urim. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gevurah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'gevurah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lasot divrei Torah.
That's when you call on the pros. Thank you so much. That was lovely. Now, think about a teacher, someone who taught you something wonderful. Think about that person as we sing for our teachers, which may be found on page 182. Of the students, we ask for peace, loving kindness, and say amen. And for to study Torah here and everywhere, they be blessed with all they need. This for peace and loving kindness, let us say, Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say, Amen. And now we will move ahead. I know I left something out, but we'll leave it out. We'll move ahead to the Ashrei. I'm going to try this. And if I'm not good at it, Alan, you'll help me. The Ashrei, as you know, is an acrostic. It goes in alphabetical order. It's found on page 185. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yahalalucha sela. Tehillah leDavid, aromim chalo hamelech, v'avarcha shimcha leolam va'ed. Gadol Adonai me'ulel ma'od, uligdulato ein cheker. Hadar kavod hodecha, b'divrei niflotecha asicha. Zecher rav tuvecha yabiu, v'tzidkatecha yiranenu. Tov Adonai l'kol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav. Kavod malchutcha yomeru, uguvratecha yadaberu. Malchutatcha malchut kol amonim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Einei kol elecha yasberu, v'ata noten lehem ani et achla b'ito. Tzadik Adonai b'chol derachav, v'chasid b'chol ma'asav. Ritzon Yerama Yaseh, v'shavatam yishma, v'yosiem. Tehillat Adonai yedaber pi, v'yivrachecha kol basar shem kodsho leolam va'ed. Together, v'anachnu nirarech ya, me'ata v'yad olam. Hallelujah. And we'll turn to page 194 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Please rise if you're able. Yitgadal, Kadash, Shemei, Yamli, Pain, Yamlich, Nufut, Eocha, Chayich, Olumia, Chayech, Beit, Yisrael, Bagalag, Riv, Imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rav, Vorach, Leolam, Leom, Meomaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitromah, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitadaleh, Yitalal, Shemhei, Degudisha, Brichu, Le'elam, Min Kol Birchat, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran B'yalma, V'imra. You may be seated. We will read the Yotzer in Hebrew. By the way, if you cannot follow the Hebrew, it is in transliteration on the left-hand side of the page. Baruch, we're on page 195. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, amir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, utuvo machadesh b'chol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reishit, ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, v'al ma'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela, or chadash al Zion ta'ir, u'nkibet huam mehara la'oro, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'ma'orot. By the way, this is called a closed blessing, because it begins and ends with Baruch atah Adonai. In other words, when you have only one Baruch atah Adonai, either at the beginning or the end, it is an open blessing. So this is a closed blessing. It's all entwined. Okay, we will continue with the Ahava Rabbah, which may be found on page 198. And again, I'd like you to think about someone who taught you something, and what is it what they taught you? Anybody want to share that? I always do this when I read this because I think it's such a beautiful prayer. Blessing. Yeah, Linda.
So one of my mentors who was on my doctoral committee, Dr. Kathleen Snow, brilliant scholar, academic researcher, mentor, teacher. She is retiring and just received notice of that. And so I'm thinking about her a lot. And she taught me how to be a scholar and a teacher and a mentor, most of all, a good mentor.
Great. Okay. Anybody else? Jerome.
My father outlived all of his friends by 30 years. And I
Great, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Susan. Nice. Very good, thank you. Anybody else? I always think of my mother when I read this because she taught me so much about life and Judaism and appreciation, scholarship. Okay. Ahava rabba avtanu Adonai Eloheinu chemla gedola v'tera hamalta aleinu ba'avur avotenu v'imotenu shevatku v'cha v'talmidein chukei chayim kein techanenu u'telamdenu hamrachen rachem aleinu v'ten belibenu lahavin u'lahaskil lishmoa lilmod u'lulamed, to listen, to learn and to teach it, lishmor, to guard over it, v'la'asot u'lakayem, and to do it and to establish it. Et kol divrei, all of these things, Talmud Toratecha ba'ahava. We should love the study of Torah, of learning with love. Okay, v'ha'erinenu. In the middle of page 198. And you may do the Shema sitting or standing. Ma Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu You may be seated. We welcome these three handsome guys. We are continuing on page 201 with the Ba'ahavta. B'ahav et Adonai Elohecha v'chol ha'lecha v'chol nefshecha v'chol yadecha v'chayu ha'dvarim ha'erecha asher Elohim mitzavacha hayom ha'odecha v'sheyamtam v'anecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha v'yitecha v'reftecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'v'sharta v'ya'ot al yadecha v'hayuta ta'bo b'nei tizkaru, Ashitem ekol mitzvotai, v'yitem kadoshim ohechem. Ani Adonai ohechem, Asher hotzeti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. And we are on page 202. We will read this responsively. I'll read the first paragraph and you'll read the second one. And I noticed this is because many of you wrap your fingers around the fringes, but we don't usually read this, so we're going to read it. Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them that each generation shall form a fringe on the corner of their clothes and place a blue cord on the corner fringe. When this fringe catches your eye, you'll remember all the mitzvot of the Eternal and do them, and not follow after your heart and your eyes, which draw you astray." Your turn. Okay, and we will continue reading together on page 203. Song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And we continue with the Mi Chamocha on page 204. David?
Tzur Yisrael, Koma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufedei Kelmecha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo Kadosh Yisrael. Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
Page 205. Adonai, thank you, thank you. I tiftach ufi agita matecha Adonai tzifatai tiftach ufi agita matecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor Noah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher U'mevdi Geula Ebenehem. Page 208. The Amida continues through page 216. The Amida is anything but silent. The Talmud teaches us that you recite the words so that you could hear them yourself. And so in a community, it should sound like a yeshiva with whispers. So we will read through either the words on the page or the words in your heart through page 216. And you may do it standing or sitting. Shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed berachamim beracham aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yisrael amecha. Shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed, rachamim v'rachamim leinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yisrael, amen. Sounds lovely. You know, the Amidah is considered the heart of the service, and if we don't recite the that's all we would have to do on Shabbat is have the Amidah. We don't need anything else to have a full service. So that is the heart of the service. Before we begin the Torah service, I'd like to read to you from God Wrestler by Rick Lupert. He writes a poem for every parasha. Toldot. Jacob and Esau fighting in the womb like kittens. One escapes, the other hanging on by a foot. Our first family. Ladies and gentlemen, one grows hair while their father grows blind. One more interested in sports on TV than birthright. Our inheritance sells the whole thing to the smooth-skinned. Slick talker for a bowl of soup. Mom set it up. Our first family, ladies and gentlemen, off to separate corners they go. One to the desert, one to the gentrified hood of Uncle Laban, the source of all Jewish wives. I tell you what happened, but there's a sequel in the works. That's how they keep you coming back. Our first family. Ladies and gentlemen, they're coming to your town. They'll work in your fields. They'll marry your daughters. But that's a story for another week. Advance tickets on sale now. hang on to your brother's foot. He does a very good job. Some of them are not quite so humorous, but this is a very good job. Our Torah service begins on page 244. So we will do that. Let's see, who's going to hold the Torah today? Who's going to bring out the Torah? Marty, you going to hold the Torah, bring out the Torah? Not yet, not yet. I'll tell you when. We're on page 244 for the Torah service. Go ahead, Leslie. B'chol dor v'ador. Adonai. No, not yet. Come on up. We're not going to open it yet.
I'll wait for you to tell me.
Oh, I should have called him one of her sons. We'll get one of her sons to do Hagbah.
Did you see her face when they came in? She was feeling so
Of course. Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Yamo Yisrael, Bigdusha, Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol. Adonai, Gadula, Ahati, Red, You were surprised your voice came? Yes, I knew they were coming, so it's great. It's nodded, yeah. Okay. We're privileged to have Ellen Kahn and family this morning. Right. When I first came here, you guys were small, shorter than me. Now you're grown-up men. That's very nice. Okay.
You were also the teacher, remember that?
Once, very short while.
Our portion today is Toledot, which is, we'll be doing Genesis chapter 25, verses 19 to 30. Let's see. The Stone Edition, page 57, Friedman 87, Plout 173, the Stone Chumash 124, and the Women's Commentary is on page 133. Our first aliyah is for those who are observing the outside. That is our tradition. Yamo.
Yard side.
Devorah bat David v'Revelea.
Meir Yaakov ben Eliyahu.
Yeah, give her a second.
Your Hebrew name, please.
My name, Nurit. Baruch, Baruch Adonai,
Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai, Baruch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah.
Okay, can one of you guys hold this right here? And I'm going to hold this over here, if that's okay. Whew. I always get nervous in front of Torah. I have such reverence, so here we go. Amen. Va'ela toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham. Avraham holid at Yitzchak. V'hayi Yitzchak ben Arbanim shana bekakto. Et Rivka bat Betuel harami mipadam aram akod lavan haramim lo lisha. Ve'atar Yitzchak ladonai lenokach ishto ki akara hi ve'atar lo Adonai ve'atar Rivka ishto v'yitrochetzu habanim biker ba'vetomer im kain laman ze anoki vatela lidroshet Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
It's for my father that passed in Israel 34 years ago, Uri Erich Laufer.
My father's 33rd yortzeit, David ben Arive Sarah, and my mother's second yortzeit, Revelea bat Moshe Lechaya Sarah, and my best friend's 22nd yortzeit, Carol Brown.
Those of us who are regulars at this Minyan service become sort of like a family. And this is the art site of Jerry Sampson and Bob Metz.
Are we going to head for the first day? Because I have a friend that passed away yesterday, Etty Violet Gorfinkel. She passed last night.
Second Aliyah, Yano Sheni, for those who like to share something with us.
Masha Miriam Malka, Bat Heshvi, Jenny Ganendo.
From there, and Shravi Yosef. Goodbye.
Et Adonai Hamborah, Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'elam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher B'chabanu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu Et Torto, Baruch Atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah.
Make sure you know where you're at. Do you have it? 23. Amen. Vayomer Adonai la shnei goyim b'vitnek u'shnei leomim mimiyak yiparedu u'liom le'leom yamatz v'rav ya'avod zayir Pliamlu yamea laledet vihine tomim bavitna viadze harishon admoni kulo kaderek se'ar viakru shemo esav viakre kein yatsa akiv Viedo okezet vikerba esav ve'agru shamo Yaakov v'yitzchak ben shashanim shana baledet otam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Well, it was 39 years ago that Alan and I got married, so.
Congratulations. Mazel.
It was a good day. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The caterer
You have to speak
drove up
louder.
and-
You have to speak louder.
The caterer, Maxine didn't give the caterer's address.
Oh, I did, but he didn't remember.
At any rate, he drove up and we were in New York on the Upper East Side. and he's driving up and down the street. looking
Second
for the
Avenue,
synagogue.
looking for the synagogue.
But he made it.
He did, but then my cousin didn't make it. She's tall, and so I had her holding up the chuppah. Well, because the other person who was holding up the chuppah was really tall. But Barbara lived just a few blocks from the synagogue, and she didn't make it. So the only person there that could do it was my friend, who was kind of short. So it didn't work out too well, you know. But
The chuppah just
the
tilted a
chuppah
bit.
was a little slanted, but it was okay, and we got married.
Yamos, Ishi, if you'd like an aliyah, please come forward. Beginning on verse 22nd.
Perfect. Okay. Elena bat Abraham ba Sarah.
Herschel by Elena ben Gershon.
Gabriel va Elena ben Gershon.
I'm just going with Gershon.
That works. Baruch et Adonai HaBarak.
Baruch.
We'll do it again. Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Vayed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Barak Banu Mikol Ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. And this is where I get a little creative, all right? Vayigdud hanarim v'hayeh asav ish yodea zaid ish shada v'yakov ish tam yoshev ohalim v'hav yitzchak et esav ki zaid v'rivka ohevet et Yaakov. Ve'yazed Yaakov Nazid ve'yavo Esav min hasadeh ve'hu ayef. Ve'omer Esav el Yaakov halatine na min ha'adam hazeh ke eaf anoke aken kara shemo edam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu toret emet v'chayei olam natav v'tokenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. You guys want to share anything?
Supporting mom today. Fresh out of college, but having fun along the way.
Glad I got to come back here from Arizona. I'm still in college right now. I got another 2 years, I think, hopefully. But I'm glad to come back here for Thanksgiving break and support my mom.
Yeah, I'm especially thankful for this Thanksgiving. We kind of tried to surprise Ellen a little bit with not telling him that Hunter was coming to town. But she figured out as she called me up and said, why is Hunter in Dallas right now? I see that his phone, you know, to find my GPS. She goes, why is he traveling in Dallas right now? So the gig was up, but then we got home and we had him sneak around the backyard to kind of hide in the backyard. And when she went out, let out the dogs, she saw Hunter there. So just very thankful that we got to spend the whole week, you know, Thanksgiving together. And then, you know, of course today, you know, having Ellen read the Torah, which is just a fantastic experience to, you know, to end the weekend.
And overall, I'm just grateful to be with my family because it's so special to have everybody in one place at one time. So you guys probably all know that. I'm learning that. I appreciate you so much.
You must read Tom. You did that so well. Wasn't she great? She does Torah more often. It's so great to see everybody, for sure. Okay. While the Torah is out, Ellen, you know, guys, you should come more often because then she'll read the Torah more often, right? Okay, while the Torah is out, we're going to remember those who need healing. I'd like to read from our friend Alden Salavi, Refuat HaNefesh. God of the spirit, God of the soul, the breath of the wind, look with kindness on favor everyone. Our relatives, our friends, whose heart aches, crushed and fallow, whose heart yearns, empty and broken. God, the nefesh, ruach, and neshama, guide their souls back to wonder and mystery, sacred moments and glorious days, so that they know the power of your love and the wisdom of your word. May their souls shine a light and blessing for our people, Israel. If you are want to have the name of someone who needs healing, please come up and announce them. And we have two mics.
My niece, Veronica Mark.
We have two sides. Go ahead.
Karen Sonovan, my daughter.
David Kroll, Victoria Pham, and Susie, my sister.
My grandma Alice and my neighbor Dan.
My friend Catherine Cuccinella and my friends Desiree Yomtub.
I'd like to have a Misha Berach said for myself. I'm expecting and hoping and having the chutzpah to ask for a miracle that I be restored to good health. I thank you.
My children, Harrison and Shawnee Langford, and my girlfriend Sharon Brennan and her sisters Karen and Jackie.
Myself, Nurit Carmel, Sharon Resnick, Norman Eli Kaufman, and Sharon Rusakov.
My daughter, Nicole Hudson, Janet Garcia, Seth Dubinsky, and Mike Garcia. Thank you.
My brother Robert Stern, Sam Kamen, Abby Thomas, David Kroll, Dan and Sandy Lynn, Herb Lubick, Sima Oppenheimer, Mo and Phyllis Gold, Deborah Fisher, Sharon Ritter, Rhonda Schwartz, Alfredo J. Lewowski, Sheldon and Barbara Kruger, Leslie Sebastian, Jack and Bernice Sandbrand.
My daughter, Aviva Rivka Bat Yonina, my brother, Yisrael Ber Ben Tova, my cousin, Chashalea Bas Henya, and Marion Samuel. We'll join in the traditional, what is a new tradition, the tradition of Debbie Friedman's version of Rufuah Shlema on page 253. And now Rachel will read a prayer for the state of Israel.
Eli, my God, in this sacred moment, give us hope for Israel and her future. Renew our wonder at the miracle of the Jewish state. In the name of the pioneers who made the deserts bloom, give us the tools to cultivate a diversity of Jewish expression in Israel. In the name of our fallen soldiers, give us courage to stand up to the words and ways of zealots, those in our own midst and those among our neighbors. In the name of Israeli inventors who have amazed the world with their innovations, help us apply the same ingenuity to finding a path to peace. In the name of all these women and men, grant us the strength to conquer doubt and despair in Israel, replacing doubt with action, replacing despair with hope. And let us say, Amen.
Linda, will you read a prayer for the captives, please?
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless, protect, and guard the captives among our brethren, the whole house of Israel, who are in distress and captivity, as we, the members of this holy congregation, pray on their behalf. May the Holy Blessed One have compassion on them and bring them out from darkness and the shadows of death. Break their bonds, deliver them from their distress, and bring them swiftly back to their family's embrace. Give thanks to the Lord for God's loving kindness and for the wonders God performs for humanity. Fulfill for them that which is written. Those redeemed by the Lord will return. They will enter Zion with singing, and everlasting joy will crown their heads. Gladness and joy will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee away. And let us say, Amen.
And as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, this is the last week of Cheshvan, the new month of Kislev, which has Hanukkah at the end, begins tomorrow. This week, Rosh Chodesh begins, a festival for us and all Israel. May it be a month of blessings, goodness, and joy. As the months change, we change. There are spaces between months and moments. The Shekhinah is as much in the empty spaces as in the full ones, residing in the pauses between what is and what we find when we let ourselves be open to the unknown quiet. And as I said, the month of Kislev begins tomorrow. We will put the Torah away. Now that we've done all these blessings with the Torah out, I'm going to ask the guys to come up. Would one of you lift it and one of you dress it and sit over here? Okay. Hunter and Hudson, right? Those are your names. Okay, we're on page, we're on page 252. Come on, lift it. One of you has to lift it. Just lift it up. Yeah, open it a little bit. And Janice. Yeah, now turn it around. There you go. Your mother's a pro at this, by the way. We gave your job away. Everybody rise. Zorah, Moshe, Livnei B'nai Yisrael, Al-Pi Adonai, B'yad Moshe. Now take it over to you, brother. Torah, 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 Tziva, Lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva, Anu, wait a minute. Torah, Torah, Torah. Yeah, put it away. We're on page 256. It's Chaim. Hodo el Eretz. Don't go away. You're stuck. That's all right. You did a good job. Thank you. Thank you. It's really lovely to have your family here. Okay, and now Susan Dale will relish us with some words of Torah. You're going to be great.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. This parasha is so full of so much that we need to know and we need to think about. And I think everyone in the room can relate to some or all of the themes of this week's parsha. So we're going to talk about those themes. They're a study of family dynamics, deception, and divine sovereignty. So the narrative found in Genesis 25:19 to 28:9, spanning the story of Isaac and Rebekah's children Esau and Jacob, is one of the most compelling and complex in the Bible. This passage, from the birth of the twins to the eventual conflict between the brothers, touches on those key themes that resonate throughout the entirety of the Hebrew Bible. This passage, from the birth of the twins to the eventual conflict between the brothers, touches on these key themes that resonate throughout. Oh, I said that. Central to this passage are themes of family dynamics, deception, divine sovereignty, and the complexities of human choice. These themes not only drive the narrative forward, but also reveal profound theological insights that influence later biblical texts and offer guidance for the understanding of the nature of God's covenantal promises. So let's talk about the family dynamics as the struggles between Isaac and Rebekah. From the very beginning of this parsha, we are introduced to a family intention. Isaac, the son of Abraham, marries Rebekah, but the couple struggles with infertility. After Isaac prays to God, Rebekah conceives. But her pregnancy is marked by turmoil, as the twins she carries wrestle with one another in her womb. The physical struggle within Rebekah's womb foreshadows the ongoing tension between the two brothers. The turmoil also leads Rebekah to inquire of God, who reveals that two nations are in her womb and that the elder will serve the younger. This divine pronouncement introduces the first hint of the larger themes of destiny and divine choice that will unfold throughout the passage. This early foreshadowing of conflict is amplified in the later relationship between Isaac, Rebekah, and their sons. Isaac, the father, favors Esau, who was a skilled hunter and firstborn, while Rebekah favors Jacob, the younger son, the shepherd. The favoritism shown by each parent sets the stage for a household marked by division. Isaac's preference for Esau, driven perhaps by his love for the wild outdoors, contrasts with Rebekah's preference for Jacob, whose character and domestic skills align more closely with her values. This favoritism breeds resentment between the brothers, especially as Jacob's actions, under Rebekah's guidance, become more manipulative and deceptive. The division within the family highlights the dangers of parental favoritism, leading to envy, betrayal, and conflict. And here I just like to insert a little PS. Why would you think that Rebekah favors her younger son, Jacob, the shepherd? Could it be that her brother, Laban, is a shepherd and has tremendous wealth and tremendous flocks, that she grew up in that environment, and so she favors the son who follows in her family's footsteps? How many of us followed our parents into business or into academia or into parenthood? Think about that. So the next theme is really the deception and the struggle for blessing. A central theme in this passage is the deception that surrounds the birthright and blessing of the firstborn. In ancient Israel, the firstborn son was typically entitled to the birthright, a double portion of the inheritance, and the blessing, which affirmed his leadership and divine favor. This theme plays out most notably in the story of how Jacob, with his mother's assistance, deceives his father Isaac into giving him the blessing intended for Esau. The first instance of deception occurs when Esau, exhausted from a hunting trip, sells his birthright to Jacob in exchange for a meal. While the sale of the birthright is not explicitly sinful in the text, Esau's indifference to his birthright, described as despising it, marks him as unworthy of the privileges associated with it. In contrast, Jacob, not though innocent in his actions, recognizes the significance of the birthright and seeks to secure it. However, the more egregious act of deception occurs later in Genesis 27, when Jacob, under Rebekah's guidance, tricks Isaac into giving him the blessing meant for Esau. Isaac, now blind and aging, intends to bestow the blessing on his elder son, Esau. Rebekah, overhearing Isaac's plan, devises a scheme for Jacob to impersonate Esau. Jacob wears Esau's clothes and covers his hands and neck with goat skins to simulate his brother's hairiness. When Isaac hesitates, suspecting something is amiss, Jacob lies and claims to be Esau, successfully receiving the blessing. I mean, he put sheepskin on his face so that he would feel like his woolly beard. Incredible. This act of deception is significant not only because of its immediate consequences, the strained relationship between the brothers, and the rivalry that ensues, but also because it reflects deeper questions about morality, divine will, and human agency. Jacob's deception is undoubtedly a moral failure, and yet it is important to note that this event occurs within the broader context of God's plan. Before the twins are born, God tells Rebekah that the older would serve the younger, which we already know this. This divine pronouncement suggests that while Jacob's methods are questionable, his eventual rise to power is part of the greater divine purpose. This juxtaposition of human sinfulness and divine sovereignty creates tension and invites the reader to wrestle with the question of how God's plans unfold through human actions, even when those actions are morally flawed. Let's talk about wrestling in a little while. Divine sovereignty and the election of Jacob. One of the most profound theological themes in this passage is the idea of divine sovereignty and election. The tension between Esau and Jacob is not merely a personal rivalry. It reflects the unfolding of God's sovereign plan for the descendants of Abraham. When God tells Rebekah that the older will serve the younger, it is a direct reversal of cultural expectations. In ancient Near Eastern societies, the firstborn son held privileged status, but God's choice to elevate Jacob over Esau underscores a key biblical theme, that God's election is not based on human merit or convention, but on his own will and purpose. And forgive the his and the hymns, talking about God. Let's just consider that a pronoun without gender in this case. The struggle for identity and the role of deceptive actions. A final theme worth noting is the complex role of identity within the passage. Jacob's actions, especially his deceptive behavior, are partly driven by his desire to secure his place in the family and to obtain the blessing and birthright that would grant him status and identity within the larger community. However, Jacob's quest for identity is fraught with moral ambiguity. He does not receive the blessing through honest means, yet the text does not present him as a purely villainous person. Instead, Jacob is portrayed as a figure caught between ambition, insecurity, and the reality of God's sovereignty. This tension shapes his character, and it is only later, when he wrestles with God at Peniel, that Jacob's true transformation takes place. Esau, in contrast, remains largely one-dimensional in the narrative. While his birthright is taken from him, let us say he gave it away, his character does not evolve in the way that Jacob's does. Esau's narrative arc is one of lost opportunity and missed blessings, and his role in the family dynamics remains defined by his actions and choices, rather than any divine transformation. So, in conclusion, what did we learn? We learned that Genesis 25:19 to 28:9 presents a multifaceted exploration of family dynamics, deception, divine sovereignty, and identity. The conflict between Esau and Jacob is not merely a story of sibling rivalry, but a reflection of deeper theological themes that explore the mystery of God's election and the consequences of human actions. Though the flawed characters of Isaac, Rebekah, Esau, and Jacob, our text invites readers to reflect on the complexities of human nature, the impact of familial relationships, and the way in which God's purposes unfold in the world. The story challenges us to consider how divine promises intersect with human choices, and how even in the midst of deception and conflict, God's will is ultimately realized. Shabbat Shalom. Before you get up, though, it was the tradition of our minyan when we first started to open up the floor to questions and comments. And although I would love to have questions and comments, I would also like to invite you to embellish this Devar with your own understandings or lessons that you've learned or bits of wisdom that you have been taught about the Parsha. Who would like to begin? Questions, comments, what did you learn before? Yes. women had very definitive roles and were also elevated in status within the family structure. It was the women's opportunity to influence their families by the way they taught their children Torah. And also, women were not able to inherit until much later in our Torah. But it looks to me like Janice has another thing to offer. All right. All right. Anybody else? One last piece of knowledge to impart, David? His third wife was Ishmael's daughter. Yeah. Okay, no, but Esau took an Ishmaelite wife also. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Shabbat Shalom again.
Thank you very much. We will continue with we will get to conclude our service. We have a few more things. We have a few more things to do. We're not over. We will go to the Aleinu, which is on page 282. Page 287. Lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shema echad. Thank you. We will read together on page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It's radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. If you are remembering someone today, please let us know. Please stand and tell us the name. Thank you. Okay. The Minyan is remembering Bob Metz and Jerry Sampson. Please, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones,
those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. And we remember them. We meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Let us rise together as a community to say Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shmei rabbah, b'yalma v'yamlich te, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'zman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mavorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalach shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shloma rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. We have a couple more things to do. Marty, announcements? Please don't think.
Shabbat Shalom. First of all, I want to thank the congregation both here and online. You are what makes this Minyan service what it is and why it has lasted so long. Makes it very special. I also want to thank our musicians, Leslie and Mary and Leslie, marvelous as always, as always. A special thank you goes to my buddy up here, Janice. When Janice leads, we always get some interesting readings, and she is a teacher through and through. She can't stop teaching. Right? Okay. Susan, you need to do more of these, young lady, because those are terrific. You really do need to do more of these. It's good to see you back. We haven't seen you for a while. As for my buddy Ellen, you not only read well, but what I'm going to take from that mostly was the look on your face when your family all came in here. You flushed red. You were kvelling so hard, and the smile was so strong, it warmed up this place like nothing could have ever done it. And it's so good to see Hunter, Hudson, and Adam here. You know, I've known these people for years. I used to see them many Sunday mornings when they used to work with me down at Father Joe's on a regular basis, feeding the homeless. So please, read more often, and maybe we can get the family back more often. That's very nice. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, I cannot forget. You already slipped out. David Kroll, to me, there are other people that do Tzur Yisrael, but to me, listening to him do Tzur Yisrael is always something very, very special. Next week, we have Elaine Edelman as our leader. Mary Marshall will be reading from the Torah. John Uri will do the Devar Torah. Jerome is hopefully picking up some names from people. We are now into January. Can use a reader on January 4th, a reader and a leader on the 11th, and need everybody for the end at that January 25th. Please see me, or if Jerome's still out there, him, or email us and let us know what you'd like to do. That's what makes this work, because we don't have rabbis in here. Only in the technical sense. Rabbi, as I understand it, means teacher. So we do have lots of teachers.
We have lots of, you're a teacher.
I'm a teacher. And Susan was definitely teaching today. Well done. Well done. Okay. We have more?
Of course.
All right. I'll say Shabbat Shalom. And
Shabbat Shalom. We're all teachers. Okay. We will sing Ein Keloheinu. It may be found on page 327.
And we're going to do it zippy, right? Okay. Start. Start again, Leslie. Okay, everybody, join in. Enkelo heinu, enka donenu, enka malkeinu, enka moshienu, michelo heinu, micha donenu, micha malkeinu, micha moshienu, nodel Eloheinu, nodel Eloheinu, nodel malkeinu, nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Umoteinu, Baruch Umalkeinu, Baruch Enkel Einu, Enkel Moshienu, Mina Eloheinu, Mina Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Nodel Moshienu, Enkel Enkel Malkeinu, we'll get it better next time. Eloheinu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kamalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Ein Unu, Atahu Malkeinu, Inu, Atahu Malkeinu, Inu, Shienu, Atahu Malkeinu, Adononenu, Enga Malkeinu, Enka Moshienu, Eloheinu, Adononenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Adononenu, Adononenu, Okay.
Because they would not stop until they
Well,
had another boy.
well, that's your family's dynamic, but, you know, the Torah, before it was written down, this was a matriarchal society, and men took it over, and that's why it's all, that's what it was, because women were helpmates. They were not subservient.